we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. So introduction to the Turkish language. And if you guys, this is so informal. If you guys have questions or just want to just jump in there, hopefully we can still, if, you know, our native guy can join us, he can help with the pronunciation. But I feel like you guys are in the same boat. We're just learning together and we're going to do this. Okay. So introduction to the Turkish language. You know, Turkish is going to be, you know, the language that you use to communicate in Turkey. It's spoken by so many indigenous folks who are, you know, from northern Cyprus, Bulgaria, Romania, other parts of the Balkans. It's, you know, something that there's a very big Turkish population now in Germany. So I actually had a lot of German friends. I go to something called the Polyglot Conference every year. So it's just a big meeting place for folks who are like us, who are excited about language learning and just want to be around other folks who share that same passion. And, you know, at the Polyglot Conference, every German person I know, they also, you know, are really good at Turkish. So, or the other way around, a lot of Turkish folks are good at German because of working or living in Germany. So.
Oh, can I ask a question real quick? So I missed, are you fluent in Turkish or any other languages?
Yes. Okay, so my language loves, as I like to say, are Russian, Arabic, and Arabic is something that my undergraduate major was in Arabic. And then I also studied Mandarin Chinese, where I lived in China and I've lived in Russia as well. So those are the ones that I'm strongest in. And other ones I kind of like to learn. Like I said, I learned Turkish in the past, not to the degree of fluency. So I am kind of a beginner. And I think, you know, it's nice for beginners to learn with each other. You know, it's different than, you know, other kinds of classes. So then I've learned Hindi using the teach yourself method that we're going to use here. I've studied Korean, and that's something I'm also a beginner in as well. So those are my language skills. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So, all right. Turkish uses vowel harmony, which it's a feature that's unknown to English speakers. So where English uses a separate word, Turkish often adds an ending to an existing word. And the word order is kind of odd. So we're just going to get into a little bit more of that. And then, all right. So that kind of feature, when what it's describing is agglutination, where, you know, you have a single word like, Jilibleskin, and you know, you add certain things onto the end of it and it kind of changes the endings. So without further ado, we're not going to spend too much time on the grammar. I'm just going to jump right into some beginning information. All right. So just for a second, I am going to pull up a YouTube video, and then we can go over pronunciation, like so that we can phonetically get it out and then jump right back into the text. Also, I love to do these kind of things because you have accountability buddies. And you know, whether or not, you know, you're using a native speaker or native text, I think it's just more important to be able to practice and then, you know, be brave with your languages. So, okay, I'm pulling that up now. So has anybody here ever been to Turkey?
No.
Okay, and why Turkish?
For me, I like some Turkish movies.
Nice, nice.
I think they're very like funny, and I think the dramas are also very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I just thought it was an interesting language, so I was intrigued by the course.
Awesome.
Merhaba, hoş geldin.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and screen and going to this. Nice.
In this video, you are going to learn about the Turkish alphabet. First, I'm going to give you a broad overview of the Turkish alphabet and then tell you about the most important 3 things that you need to know as a learner. Let's get started. The Turkish alphabet that you see behind me is a modified version of the Latin alphabet. Traditionally and historically, Turkish language has used many alphabets, including the Arabic script. In 1928, the founding father of the Turkish Republic, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, issued a decree replacing the Arabic alphabet with the modified version of the Latin alphabet. So you may ask, why the modified version of the Latin alphabet? Because Turkish has some unique sounds that had to be represented in the alphabet. These sounds are like che, and she, or soft g, ye.
And so if we want, like once she starts to go over these pronunciations, we can say them out loud to get used to the sound.
They had to be represented in the alphabet because we use them in our words, right? So as a result, we ended up with this alphabet, which has, again, 29 letters in total. Okay, the 3 important things that I would like you to know as a learner. The first thing is that Turkish language is considered phonetic. Whenever a language is considered phonetic, that means there is a very strong correspondence between the letters and the sounds that they represent. For example, English is not a phonetic language. You know, like this letter C in English is never pronounced reliably. You know, sometimes it is pronounced as C, sometimes pronounced as K, and sometimes when it's paired with another sound like he, it's pronounced as che. See, those are all the examples of a non-phonetic language. On the other hand, now we have Turkish. Turkish is a phonetic language. That means whenever you learn how to pronounce these letters individually, you're always going to reliably pronounce these as the same sounds that you learned in the first place. That means this letter, J, is always going to be pronounced as J.
J.
So, and now this brings me to fact number 2. This fact is about 2 individual sounds coming together and not forming a special sound. This means, like, for example, in English, when you have C and H next to each other, they form a different sound other than the sound that they represent individually. You know this in the word, for example, cheese. In English, you pronounce this as che, even though the individual letters are different. So in Turkish, this does not happen. What happens is, if we wanted to pronounce or say the word, the letter che, then we would write it with the letter representing it, which is che here, right? No 2 different sounds coming together to form a uniquely different sound. For example, here's something that happens all the time when the students are just starting to learn Turkish. There is a word in Turkish, kütüphane. Kütüphane means library.
Kütüphane. And if we want to, say that, I can just pause. Or if you want to, repeat any word that she has to say, we can do that too. All right. Kütüphane.
Okay. So because the students see P and H sounds next to each other, which is P and he in Turkish, they always say kütüphane, which is really cute. but not accurate. Because if we wanted to pronounce or spell this word with fe, then we would actually use the letter fe to spell this word out, right? So again, no two individual sounds coming together to form a different sound. That was fact number 2. Now let's get on to the last but not least important fact, which is fact number 3, and that is whenever you have double sounds, N means hen, and if I want to make it plural and say hens, I would say eller. Here you have double L's in the middle. How do you pronounce this? Okay, remember, in fact number 2, I told you that when two sounds come together, they don't form a unique sound. Like, in Spanish, you would say AR, like you would pronounce this as the letter Y. You wouldn't do that in Turkish. And fact number 3 tells you that you pronounce them both actually with an emphasis. Eller. You see, there is an emphasis here. How do you make this emphasis? Is by slightly pausing after the first syllable and then delaying that release of the next syllable. Eller. That's how you do this. Again, because Turkish is a phonetic language, you pronounce everything right, so you say eller, even pronouncing the final sound in this last syllable. Here's something I would like you to do. Please go ahead and watch the next video in which I listed all the individual letters and pronounced them. I would like you to join me in practicing pronouncing these individual sounds. All right? I'll see you in that next video.
Okay, so we are going to watch that part and then delve right
Merhaba,
into the material.
hoş geldiniz. In this video, I'm about to teach you something super cool about Turkish. Now you're going to learn in this video the Turkish sound harmony. Every word we say, every sentence we put together has to have sound harmony in it. All right? As a native speaker,
Jumping right back to that. Okay. Guys having fun? Any questions? Excitement.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dinleyin ve tekrar edin.
Okay, so alphabet here. Now what we can do is pronounce back.
A,
Ah, ah. And I would encourage you guys to just out loud.
B,
Be,
B,
E,
be,
C,
je,
C,
je,
K,
K,
che,
Ç,
che,
D,
K,
de,
D,
de,
D,
E,
e,
E,
e,
E,
F,
fe,
F,
F,
fe,
F,
G,
ge,
G,
ge,
G, G,
yumuşak G,
yumshange,
yumuşak G,
yumshange,
H,
short G, he,
H,
H,
I,
u. It's the I without the dots over it.
U,
I,
E,
E,
I,
e,
J,
je,
J,
J,
je,
J,
K,
ke,
K,
K,
K,
L,
le,
L,
L,
M,
M,
me,
N,
ne,
N,
N,
ne,
O,
o,
O,
That's that loud noise.
Mm-hmm.
He,
Pe. Re.
re,
Re.
re,
Se.
se,
Se.
Se. She.
she,
She.
She.
she,
She.
Te.
Te.
Te.
te,
U.
u,
U.
U.
u,
U.
u,
U.
u,
Be.
ve,
Be.
Ve.
Ye.
ye,
Ye.
Ye.
ye,
Ze.
ze,
Ze.
ze. Okay. So let's just delve right back into the material here. And now that we have a little bit more hand on how we can pronounce these words. Okay. Okay, so now we have been introduced to the Turkish alphabet, and we have a, be, se, and then the sound is like a ch, ch, ch, ch, ch. It's like it has a whole different sound to it. And you know, these are the ones that, you know, we have the Turkish alphabet, which, you know, they ask which English letters are missing and which, you know, which letters does Turkish have that English doesn't. And you know, then of course we can look at the answer on page 247, but we've been introduced to the pronunciation. And so now let's kind of jump into some beginning words. Now to just, or do we want to reiterate here, you know, some of these vowels, like as in cats, like as in the cat pronounced by an English person is like cat, ah. And then the E as in get, or e. And then it, I. And then O, o. O. Now, then the ones that we don't have in English, so the O here is going to be like the German u, or, you know, they say the French word du. And then the I is the same as the e in butter. And then the U, the German U, to, U, and the consonants. So that C is always going to be a J. So when we see that, like as in teşekkürler is, you know, one of those Turkish words where it's just like teşekkür ederim, which is nice to meet you. So then you have the J as in the French word Jacques, or is in the word pleasure. Okay, and then the V is a halfway between English W and V. And then this word, like çok. There's a Turkish singer called Tarkan, and he used the word çok a lot because it's just like very. And you know, you hear this you have the C with a little tail underneath it, and it's ch. So then the tail exists here again, and you have the show. So you know, there is a Turkish leader, you know, Erdogan. Erdogan has this letter in his name, and this g, or this g, it doesn't have a sound. So you're going to see this in the Turkish Prime Minister, you know, Erdogan. He has that letter in his name. So the umsha is a soft G. Okay. Right. So we're just going to kind of find some more words to just get right into these. All right. So for yes, the word is evet. And then no is hayır.
Hey.
And then lütfen. Hello, we have a new person here. Hi, Liz.
Hi, how are you?
Liz, so I'm just going to stop for a moment here and introduce you to Michelle and Whitney, and I'm Ernestine. So what part did you come in on? Were we going over some of the basics, or were we in the alphabet?
I haven't heard anything at all yet, and I'm so sorry I'm late. I was really excited to attend this webinar, and thank you for hosting it.
Yay! Yeah, because it's for very beginners, and it's meant to be a collective of folks who are, you know, just curious about the language, and we want to know more. And then we're going to bring in a native speaker for the rest of our, session. So it's for folks who, you know, have either no Turkish or, you know, beginning, and they just kind of want to get together with other, you know, polyglots or language enthusiasts to learn the basics, and then be introduced to like how we can just really go to town and have fun. So it's more to be surrounded by a network of other language learners to be acquainted with some of the basics. And what we did is we watched a couple of YouTube clips that kind of gave us pronunciations and some basics about the Turkish alphabet. And so tell us more about why you want to learn Turkish, where you are, what levels you are, or, you know, just your language learning journey.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for this opportunity. I love that this class is interactive and that it's conversational, and it's not just lecture-based. That's particularly generous, and what a wonderful offering that you're providing. So thank you.
And it's free because I'm not a native speaker. Because like I just want to get together with folks who also want to learn. But yeah.
That's great. I studied Spanish in high school, and I enjoyed learning the language, and I'm getting ready to take an Arabic class in college, and I'm excited about that. And I'm interested in, like, I was looking up online summer workshops in like indigenous languages and also like African languages.
Nice. Zulu's one of our other workshops we're having.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I just would love to get some language exposure, and then as I have the opportunities to pursue further learning, that would be great. But right now, I'm not attached to learning any particular language. The school I'm getting ready to transfer to, I might be learning either Tamil or Hindi. I'm not sure. But I just want to, I guess, get my mind in a place where I'm looking at vocabulary that's foreign and becoming more comfortable with just language study in general again.
Nice, nice. क्या आप हिंदी समझती है?
Nice.
And let's see. You said you were interested in Arabic. هل تحكي عربي؟
Wow, so you're speaking many languages. That's wonderful.
درسوا اللغة العربية في الجامعة الفصحى. So I studied Fusha, which is like formal Arabic in university. So yeah, the fun thing about Turkish is it was once written in the Perso-Arabic script. And then in 1928, Ataturk, the father of Turkey, as he was known, he changed the writing system to a more anglicized version of what we currently see here. So like over here, we were just about to get into some of these basics. So we're really excited to have you, and it looks like you're a polyglot in the making, and yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Thank you.
Okay, so all right, Yvette is yes, and then Hayir, no, Lutfan is please. Sağolun. Because we have that soft G there, like in Erdogan. Sağolun is thank you. And then we probably all know this word, merhaba. Merhaba is also used in, it's pretty much an Islamic greeting. So you have merhaba that exists in Persian, you have it existing in Arabic, and you also have it existing in Urdu, which is, it's Hindi, but Hindi is spoken by people in Pakistan, and it uses the Perso-Arabic script. And then, you know, in Devanagari, which is the Hindi script, so they're going to be using different words, even though it's the same language. So if you say "Aap kaisi hai" to somebody in Hindi, it is also the Farsi, or not Farsi, but the that is also the Urdu reading as well, but it would just be written completely different. So I digress. Now, all right. Now, when we have the little tail with our S, I'm gonna have somebody else like if you want to take a shot at this one, because we went through the alphabet here, and I'm just going to go back real quick, and we can remember that this is a sh sound. So we want to try out this word. Hoşça kalın.
Hoşça
Kalın. All right. And then nasılsınız? Nasılsınız is how are you? Nasılsınız? All right. And iyiyim. Iyiyim is I'm fine. And then of course, pardon. It's the same as French, is excuse me. There are a lot of loan words in most languages, and I think you guys, being polyglots in the making, can kind of see some of these borrowings. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna go over these same words, and I do want to pull up our pronunciation guide.
Hi, so I know that you said that you're relatively a beginner as well, but I want to know if you could speak on the grammar structure a little bit, or I mean, you said it's similar to Arabic in a way, but I don't know if you know about the grammar structure for Turkish.
Not really. I think we're gonna learn that ourselves. So, you know, we can go back over and, you know, read this, but I always think it's better, or at least in my experience of like teaching languages, I also taught in China and learning languages. I think it's always fun to kind of delve right into the alphabet and then some of the pronunciation, and then go use the grammar, because then we're going to learn how to put these words together as long as we get used to the sounds. So I'm just going to get some of these wonderful phrases here so we can kind of reiterate what we're learning and then go back.
Günaydın.
Quiet. So I can pull you up here. Let me stop sharing. Oh, hi. I can see you in person. Nice. That's a nice background. You're nice out in the backyard or at a park. Awesome.
It's a beautiful, yeah, family area.
Awesome. Okay.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş geldiniz. And, you know, guys, I'm really going to encourage, like, just kind of getting, most of my best teachers for languages were ones who were just like, talk, speak, even if you're messing up, even if you're screwing up, because I feel like that's the biggest way to really just use the language. I remember living in Russia, and we had people who were awesome students and would test really well, but like they would get so nervous when it came to using the language. But it's like native speakers, they're gonna love that you're using the language at all. So I'm gonna pause and then we can connect it.
Nasılsın?
Nasılsın?
Nasılsın?
Nasılsın?
İyiyim.
İyiyim.
İyiyim.
İyiyim. All right.
Sen nasılsın?
Sen nasılsın?
Ya sen nasılsın?
Ya sen nasılsın? All right, I'm gonna go back. Ya sen nasılsın?
Ya sen nasılsın?
Sen nasılsın?
Nasılsın? Okay, that's one that kind of trips me up sometimes too. So
Ben de iyiyim.
ben de
Ben de-
iyiyim. Ben de iyiyim.
Ben de iyiyim.
İyiyim.
İyiyim.
Çok teşekkür ederim.
Oh, now that's my favorite one because it's so difficult. Very. There we got the çok in there again. So, tok, teşekkür ederim. Tok, teşekkür ederim.
Çok teşekkür ederim.
Çok teşekkür ederim. All right.
Çok teşekkür ederim. Hey arkadaş. Hey arkadaş.
Hey arkadaş.
Seni çok özledim.
Seni çok özledim.
Seni çok özledim.
Seni çok özledim. Ne var ne yok.
Ne var ne yok.
Ne var ne yok.
Var ne yok. Ne haber?
Ne haber?
Ne haber?
Ne haber?
Nereden geliyorsun? Nereden geliyorsun?
Nereden geliyorsun?
Geliyorsun.
Nerede geliyorsun?
Almanya'dan. Almanya'dan. Neler yapmaktan hoşlanıyorsun?
Okay. Let's break that one down a little. Okay. Neler yapmaktan hoşlanıyorsun?
Neler yapmaktan hoşlanıyorsun? Ben arkadaşlarla takılırım, yüzmeyi severim, sinemaya giderim. Ben arkadaşlarla takılırım, yüzmeyi severim, sinemaya giderim.
Okay, now she's getting super advanced. But you know, we're gonna, you know, keep getting used to the sounds and, you know, the pronunciation, and we're also looking at like the alphabet in here and how we see, you know, some of the sentence structure. And then as we get into grammar in, you know, the coming lessons, we can really be able to tackle this.
Türkçe biliyor musun?
Türkçe biliyor musun?
Türkçe biliyor musun?
Türkçe biliyor musun?
Türkçe.
Sadece biraz. Sadece biraz. Ben yeni Türkçe konuşmayı öğreniyorum. Ben yeni Türkçe konuşmayı öğreniyorum. Kaç yaşındasın?
Kaç yaşındasın?
Kaç yaşındasın?
Kaç yaş?
18 yaşındayım. 18 yaşındayım. Türkiye'de en çok neyi seversin? Türkiye'de en çok neyi seversin? Yemeğine bayılırım. Çok güzel. Yemeğine bayılırım. Çok güzel. Ne mesela? Ne mesela? Lahmacuna bayılırım. Adana, kuşbaşı ve tabii ki de İskender. Lahmacuna bayılırım. Adana, kuşbaşı ve tabii ki de İskender. Tatlı olarak ne seversiniz? Tatlı olarak ne seversiniz? Baklava ve kadayıf süper. Baklava ve kadayıf süper.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to some more basic phrases and, you know, just to kind of like to Whitney's question, let's delve into some of the German too, or not German, excuse. Whitney, you can go German. Let's delve into some of the grammar.
I was gonna ask.
Been in twice in that video, so.
Her she's not a native speaker, is she? Because she has like a very Germanic kind of like accent sounding to me, but am I wrong?
It could be that she was actually, because there are a lot of German, I think I said this like right before you joined, there are a lot of Turkish speakers living in Germany and a lot of Turkish lessons being authored in Germany because they're, you know, it's just because of trade and, you know, the way that, you know, visas are set up with the European Union right now, it's very, you know, there's a large population of Turkish individuals and Turkish speakers who are now living in Germany. And like I said, a lot of my German friends, you know, they're really good at Turkish and they're interested in culture and or intermarrying with Turks. So it's almost like, you know, and then a lot of Germans are going to Turkey for trade now too. So, and it also has led to a lot of anti-Turkish kind of nationalism, but that's a whole nother issue. So I just want to go ahead and get some Turkish basic grammar. Okay, and I picked him because he's handsome, and I have, you know, been a fan of, you know, his teaching practice.
Hello, merhaba, my friends. How are you? This is Hasan Eray, and today I'm with second video about Turkish grammar. If you're thinking about my first video, it was about Turkish alphabet pronunciation. So if you guys didn't watch this video, don't forget to watch. So after watching pronunciation video, you will be able to start reading Turkish words easily. Okay? So don't forget. So now guys, we come to our second lecture, which is in Turkish grammar. So guys, compared to English, Turkish uses a different word order. Okay? And what is this word order? Here I put an example. So guys, Ali is watching TV. This is the order for the English language. Subject, verb, object. Okay? In English, the sentences formed as subject, verb, object. But in Turkish, it's reverse of it. How? Subject, then comes object, then comes verb. Now here is an example. Ali is watching TV. Ali is watching TV. In this, Ali, okay, is the subject, watching is the verb, TV is the object, okay, is expressed in Turkish language as Ali TV watching, okay. It will be what? Ali is the subject, TV is the object, and watching is the verb. So Ali is watching TV, and when we say in Turkish language, Ali televizyon izliyor. Ali televizyon, television means TV, okay? This is what? Object. And izliyor, watching, which is verb. So you see, this is how it works in Turkish language. So guys, if you put this in your mind, you will make many sentences, but for the sentences, I will also teach you the vocabulary as well, okay? So don't worry about this, my friends. So guys, you see the example, subject, object, verb. This is the simple order in Turkish language, and subject, verb, object, this is the simple order in English language. So now guys, we move on to our lecture. In Turkish language, my friends, there are no articles and no gender associated with words, okay? Like in English language, we associate genders with he, she, it. He, she, it, but in Turkish language is not like that. So there is no association with genders. And the vowel harmony is a very fundamental property of Turkish language. The rules concerning vowel harmony need to be learned as one of the first steps because they affect the way almost all the rules are applied. Okay, my friends. So about vowel harmony, I will make another video in my next video because there are some vowels which we say in soft language softly, some vowels we say hard, some vowels we say high, some vowels we say low. Okay, so for this, my friends, I will make another video, but for now we are going to use of suffixes. Okay, so my friends, suffixes are very widely used in Turkish language. Suffixes are very widely used in Turkish language, like kalbimdesin. Kalbimdesin, if we translate from Turkish to English, we will say you are in my heart. You see, we take our kal mean heart, bim my, desin, you are, okay? You are in my heart. In English language, it made with 4 words. You are in my heart. There are 5 words, but in Turkish language, you see, everything we just put into 1 word. Okay, so Turkish language works like this. So my friends, so many suffixes are used in Turkish. As I told you, the base structure of the grammar, which gives the meaning of prepositions, personal pronouns, possessive adjectives, all tenses, etc., is built and formed by adding suffixes onto each other after a word. Okay, like I give you example, kalbim desin. Okay, whereas in English, several words are used to express the same thing. Now there are some other examples to show you more in detail. You must go. You must go. Okay, in Turkish is only 1 word. What is this? Gitmelisin. Git means go. Okay, meli, must. Sin, you. Gitmelisin. Suffixes are added after the verb, like git means go, meli, must, sin, you. Gitmelisin. We put all in 1 word. You see, gitmelisin. It's easy. Now here's another example to show you where we may not buy. We may not buy. We may not buy. We may not buy. 4 words, my friend. But in Turkish we say almayabiliriz. Almayabiliriz. Almayabiliriz. We may not buy. Almayabiliriz. Okay. Suffixes are added after the verb al. Al means to get, buy. Al means buy. Okay. Ma, it's used as negative suffix. Ma, that not means not. Okay. Why, it's a buffer letter. Why is used as buffer letter. Abil, maya bil, maya bil, al maya bil. Abil means may or may be able to. Okay. May be able to. Okay. Ir. Al maya bilir, bilir, ir. It's present tense suffix. Okay. We may not buy. Showing the present tense suffix. Plus is means we. Is we. I will teach you about it. Like he, she, it, we say o. Ben means I means ben. You means sen. Biz means we. Okay. Onlar means they. Onlar means they. So I will teach you about this. Don't worry about that, of my friends. Okay. This is just for example to show you that how Turkish words and how we can start speaking Turkish language, or how we can make sentences in Turkish language. Okay. So don't need to be worried about anything. I will teach you everything step by step. So keep calm and cool. Okay. So almayabiliriz, we may not buy. Almayabiliriz, we may not buy. Because it's so expensive to buy. Çok pahalı. Most so expensive is çok pahalı. Çok pahalı. Çok pahalı. Çok means बहुत. Means most. Okay? More expensive, most expensive. Or like this. Okay, my friend, now here is the last example of our today's lecture. My friend bought car. Again, I give example to more pure into your mind, more purify into your mind. Okay. Subject, object, verb. Here you say, my friend bought car. Now, when we translate in Turkish language, we say arkadaşım, arkadaşım, arkadaşım, arkadaşım, my friend, araba, car. You see, car is in the object section in English language, but now the object section is coming in the middle. Arkadaşım araba aldı. My friend bought car. Al means buy. Aldı, the, it's in the past. Okay, because he bought already. So aldı, the, it's used as happened something. Okay. Arkadaşım araba aldı. Subject, object, then verb. So guys, today is end of our lecture, and I hope you understand what I teach to you. And if you have any kind of questions, don't hesitate to write me into the comment below section. And also, if you're looking for upcoming videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and put the like.
Okay, so that's some basic grammar, and I thought, he's really useful, and he kind of explains with examples that kind of like put the endings onto things, and explains the subject, verb, object order. So I'm just gonna go right back to our material. So we've had a little bit of an acquaintance. So share with me some things you guys have learned about Turkish that have been interesting so far, so we can get a little more interactive.
I like hearing the sounds. There's one that was really beautiful. It's like how do you say that word? It's like
just check it out.
They're all it's really nice sounding. I don't know. I'm really enjoying just like hearing it spoken is
right.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I feel like good night is good morning, because to me it sounds like good night. And it's such a pretty sound, like and then also one of my favorite things that my Turkish friends used to say is, and the interesting thing is I got really into Turkish I was living in China, and I lived in a foreigner dorm, as they called it, and it was full of international students. And, you know, everybody on the floor below me was, you know, made up of Turkish students. And so it was like you would hear, you know, them speaking this language, and it was so, so beautiful. So, you know, they make wonderful Turkish coffee. And, you know, it was just so nice to be like enveloped in their culture and welcomed in and learning their language. So that's where I learned my basic phrases, like my favorite one, which is gule gule. Gule gule is goodbye. And you just like gule gule. So you'd hear that all day they'd be saying to each other like gule gule. And I'm just like, oh, it's so pretty. And then, you know, basic things like nasılsınız, which is how are you. So we're gonna jump back into our guide.
Hearing the there's sounds that's like an I, an L, and then an I that are kind of all backed up together. It reminds me of there's this Tureg band from North Africa called Tina Erwin that's produced by like this Italian music producer. And in some of the music, I think they're speaking like I forget what the Arabic language is, like what that family of languages is called, but it sounds like I hear the sounds, and I'm no expert, I'm no linguist, so I don't know if they're similar, but it sounds similar, and I don't know, I just love those sounds.
I know. It could be actually, because the funny thing is, when I was also living in China, my roommate, she was from Kazakhstan. And in Kazakhstan, you know, Kazakh is a Turkic language. So that means even though they use the Russian or Cyrillic alphabet for, you know, transliterating Turkic words, it's kind of fascinating that, you know, when you would hear her speak Kazakh, which she would speak more Russian and Chinese than she would speak Kazakh, it sounded identical to Turkish. And then when, you know, the Turkish kids from the floor below would come up and we would just kind of hang out, she could jump right into speaking Turkish because her language was like one step away. It's like if you learn Italian, you can also learn Spanish very easily. So that's kind of one of the fun aspects of the language. So, all right. Any other observations, comments, in things from Michelle and Whitney?
Thank you for sharing that video on grammar. I was kind of thinking, because some of the words were very long, that they were kind of smushing them together with other words. So that's why I want to know that. So it was great to see that video.
Right. Okay. Michelle, any comments, thoughts, any observations or?
Yeah. Sorry about the sound. I don't know if you guys can hear it. My dog is like barking.
Mine's is normally like barky. She's Barky McGee, I call her.
Mine has been too, Michelle. That's why I keep going on mute.
Yeah, that's why I've been going on mute too. But I really like how they like mushed it together, like what Whitney said. Like it's my first time hearing a language that does that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the grammar, like, you know, a lot of my native Turkish friends have said the grammar is going to be difficult for you to learn because it has those, you know, the way that you add things, suffixes and prefixes, and then you add them on depending on, like, you know, to a verb. And then now, like, for example, we've got here, to understand is a verb, you know, of course, and so we have anlaydım. Anlaydım is I understand. And then if you don't, you know, so like the guy said in the video, you add on you know, you add on other like prefixes and suffixes, and so that gives you like this negation. So we see here in the middle, we have this ma, which kind of adds that negation in there. So anlaydım is I understand, and anmalaydım is I don't understand. So yes.
And it's so interesting that they don't have like his or her pronouns. Just because, like, how do they refer? Do they just call people by their names? If the person, I mean, I guess you could say they, but like if it's just a singular person and they're not there at the moment, you just say their name.
Right, or either you would just say they, because like the same exists, and this is what I feel like, it's kind of progressive. At the Polyglot Conference, they talk about the evolution of language and how language maybe shouldn't be so gender focused. And Chinese also has this feature where everything in China, either he, she, or it is ta. So ta, 大学. It's like she went to the university, but it could also mean he went to the university or it went to the university. So
Okay, I see.
so that's kind of like it's kind of implied because it's very contextual. And so I think that's kind of like some of the fascinating things about Turkish and other languages that don't have, you know, a heavy emphasis on gender. Okay, so
Also, if possible, could you send out the information on that conference? It sounds so interesting.
oh my gosh, it's virtual this year.
Yeah.
It's virtual because every year it's in a different place internationally. The first time I ever went, I was working for a language learning software company called Mango Languages. And sent their employees because it's based where I am. So I worked there, and they sent us to New York City in 2015. And the next year it was in Turkey. No, sorry, it wasn't. We were talking about Turkey, so it's on my mind. The next year it was in Greece. So, and then the year following that it was in Iceland, and then it was in Slovenia. Last year it was in Japan, in Fukuoka. And then
That's amazing.
I know this year, so I've been just about every year. And this year was going to be in Cholula, Mexico. So I was so excited about that. But of course, COVID has changed everything for the world. And even though it's an international kind of thing, the hosts have decided, and the host is made up of like polyglots from around the world. I don't know if you guys have heard of Richard Simcott or Alex Rowling. They speak like 17 languages apiece, and they're really, really impressive language learners. And they encourage this kind of thing. So just kind of having a free flow of ideas and, you know, people getting together to just kind of talk about language learning. So yeah, but it's virtual this year because, and then next year it's going to be in Cholula, Mexico. So I will send over, you know, information about that.
Thank you.
Let me pull that up now. And if anyone wants to take a shot at, you know, kind of like pronunciating some of these words, you know, it's just fun to kind of be able to jump in. Or we can go back to the alphabet because I know that, you know, we had a lovely young lady here who didn't get to have the alphabet. But so here's the alphabet here with Turkish, and so there are certain letters that are here and aren't here, and the way they're pronunciated is, you know, you can read those here while I pull up the Polyglot Conference information.
So as in cat,
Poo.
er.
Was it?
Good job.
Well, that's the one that held me back. What is that isolated U sound in pull?
The o, or, you know, it's almost like the way that the French says du, or And then they say here in the example, the I in bird is and then Okay. And then you got the consonants here.
Okay. So
That C is a J.
And then is that a glottal stop, like a kind of like in the back of the throat sound, the G letter has
Yep. That definitely is a glottal stop.
Is that what that means? It's like a, I can't even do it.
It's like an Arabic, like a word with a glottal stop is ayn. It has the
ayn.
Like you kind of
makes sense.
And then there's also, so there's ayn and ghayn. So I guess that, you know, it does have a glottal in it. But some of these are fricatives too. When you really look at them, like fricatives are kind of, you know, the yep.
A fricative is the ch sound as in child?
The fricatives are more like it sounds that kind of make that vibration in your mouth. So you got like a and you know, so these the J is more like ch, and then this also the C with the tail is also like the word çok or very. In Turkish, it has that and then sh as in show, and then this word, I swear, in this letter it's like Erdogan. It has that silence that is no sound, but the letter is also called yumyusak. And it is a soft G, and it always comes after a vowel and turns the vowel into a long sound. So you might think of it as doubling a vowel before it. So thus sa becomes sa, and ur, because even though it looks like it says ugo. And then there are no words that begin with that sound in Turkish.
That would be tough. So in Hindi, it's kind of similar. This is off topic, but isn't there like a series of sounds, letters that are like, there's like the ch and the sh, and they're all kind of like, they sound so similar. Are those the fricatives? Like
they are because, like, you know, if you kind of have like a vibration, like they're diphthongs that no, they're aspirators. I'm thinking certain words that have like this aspirative kind of p to it, like duh, tut, nut, tuh. I think that's kind of in Hindi what you could be thinking of is the words that are aspirated, and then there are the fricatives that kind of like make the vibration. So like you would say dhanyawad in Hindi, which means thank you. And you know, or it's the response to somebody saying thank you, like you say shukriya and then you say dhanyawad. So you know, that's that kind of like aspirated, the th.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so accents are a little difficult to get right in any language, and you know, even in our own language, you know, it's unlikely that you could imitate like English accents well without a specialist or training, which is why I think this lesson is all about kind of having us, you know, just kind of hear about things, and then we bring in our accent pronunciation guide person who can help. And don't worry too much about acquiring a perfect accent that's Turkish. A good accent will be enough to be understood. And like I said, it's always about having fun with languages and just kind of getting into the culture, the sounds, and, you know, just understanding it a little bit more intimately. And, you know, when pronouncing words, don't be afraid of imitating Turkish accents like günaydın or güle güle, and kind of taking on, you know, the accents that you hear. And I feel like language learning is about making a fool of yourself, even though it says you will not make a fool of yourself and no one will think you're making fun of the language. Just relax and copy. I think, you know, you have to be a little bold when it comes to language learning. And that's kind of the excitement of it. So when listening to Turkish, you may not notice where a word is stressed, because I think, you know, that's when we were listening to some of these basic phrases that the girl, I keep wanting to call her the German girl, she was saying these words, and it's like it was hard to pick up where the stress was on the syllables. But it's definitely, you know, a rule of thumb. You just kind of stress the last syllable of, you know, the word. And of course, there are exceptions to every language, and in this language in particular. So if you want to look more into that on page 256, I did send this out in the Eventbrite. You know, there's a link to download this document, so you do have it forever. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the basics. All right. So we went through, okay, we left off on tekrar, and then ne demek,
Ne demek?
Ne demek? What does it mean? Ne demek?
Ne demek?
And then most languages have a rising intonation. Turkish is one. Some languages you don't have a rising intonation, like with Chinese, for example, and with Japanese, you don't you just add a question marker, particle on the end of a question to make it a question mark. This is just rising intonation. İngilizce is English. So İngilizce, right? And then Türkçesi ne? Türkçesi. So Türkçesi is Turkish. What is it in Turkish? So you would say Türkçesi ne? All right. Kaç
Para.
Kaç para? Kaç para? How much? Ucuz.
Ucuz.
Pahalı.
Pahalı.
Var.
Yok.
Yok.
Is there any? There isn't any. Yok. And then pul.
Pul.
Yeah. Jeton.
Jeton.
Jeton.
Jeton.
Jeton.
And a token in use for public telephone, I can tell you now that doesn't exist anymore. So, okay. Bakar mısınız?
Mısınız?
Bakar mısınız?
Bakar.
Waiter, excuse me. All right. Fiyat. Tinsi.
Fiyat listesi.
Could you repeat that second word after fiat, please? Would you?
Fiyat. Listinsi. Listinsi.
Listinsi.
Listinsi. Listinsi.
Listisi.
Fiat listisi.
Listisi.
Because it's really list. Because fiat is price. Okay, and then hesap
Hesap.
Hesap.
and öğle
Olye.
yemeği.
Yemeği. Yemeği.
Yemeği.
Olye. Yemeği.
Nerede?
Nerede?
Nerede?
Nerede?
Nerede?
Nerede?
Sol,
Sol.
sağ.
Sağ.
Remember the silent G, it's sağ.
Sağ.
And düz,
Düz. Düz.
kaç.
Kaç kilometre?
Kaç kilometre?
All right. Ne zaman?
Ne zaman?
Zaman?
Hangi otobüs?
Hangi otobüs?
Otobüs.
Okay. İlk.
İlk.
I dated a guy named İlkar. İlkar. And so İlk, his name means like the best or the first person who was, just, or the height of something. Son.
Son.
İle. That's another
Bile.
French borrowed word. And then
Bile.
burada.
Burada. Burada.
Insek. Var.
İnsek var. İnsek.
Okay. So I do want to go back to some of the basic phrases and not get too far into some of this, travel kind of guide stuff that the book has. So I'm going to go back to YouTube and we're going to look at some more real life pronunciations. There's another type of guide that I really like to listen to, like when I was first learning Turkish and then just kind of getting back to it to get some more familiarity. So, and if you guys want to say that the basics out loud and then just kind of get used to seeing the Turkish words and being able to read based on what we've learned about the alphabet.
Evet.
Hayır. Hayır. Evet. Evet.
Evet.
Lütfen.
Lütfen.
Sag olun. Merhaba. Hoşça kalın.
Hoşça
Oh yeah. Hoşça kalın. Hoşça
kalın.
nasılsınız? İyiyim. Pardon.
Hoşça kalın. Nasılsınız?
Anladım.
Nasılsınız?
Anlamadım. Tekrar yap.
Okay. I am going to now. My favorites. There is the travel linguist for all of us polyglots out here. They have this series for just about every language, and I used it for Russian to death. And so, I mean, most of my pronunciations came from this series.
Welcome to the Travel Linguist. This is Turkish 101. Greeting.
And so once we spend some time in this, it probably will be time for me to like end our lessons. And, you know, if you guys can just kind of let me know what you thought and what more things you wanted to delve into next time. And, you know, just any other general questions.
This is level 1. Each language has 3 levels. Search Travel Linguist in YouTube if you'd like to learn more words and phrases in this language or others. In this lesson, you will learn common greetings.
The phrase for "what is this" is
Bu ne?
Ne. Bu ne.
Bu ne?
Bu ne?
Now you try it.
Bu ne?
Bu ne.
Bu ne?
Bu ne?
Bu ne?
Bu ne.
The word for hello is merhaba.
Merhaba.
Merhaba.
Ba.
Now you try it.
Merhaba.
Merhaba.
Merhaba.
Merhaba.
The word for goodbye is
Allah'a ısmarladık.
Now, this is the formal version. So, like, if you don't know anybody, you probably don't want to say gule gule to people you just met. That's kind of like bye-bye is gule gule. So this goodbye is more formal.
Allah'a ısmarladık.
Allah ısmarladık.
Now you try it.
Allah
Allah'a ısmarladık.
Allah'a ısmarladık. Which is also, that was a Islamic greeting too, because you do see a lot in there, because like in Arabic it would be, you know, mashallah, or just adding Allah in there, you know, to kind of like say praise be the day.
The phrase for good morning is günaydın.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Now you try it.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
Günaydın.
The phrase for good afternoon is
İyi akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar.
akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar.
Now you try it.
İyi akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar. İyi akşamlar.
The phrase for good night is
Not to be confused with günaydın.
iyi geceler.
İyi geceler.
Geceler.
İyi geceler.
İyi geceler.
Geceler.
Now you try it.
İyi geceler.
İyi geceler.
İyi geceler.
İyi geceler.
The phrase for how are you is
Nasılsınız?
Nasılsınız?
now you try it.
Nasılsınız?
Nasılsınız?
Nasıl?
Nasılsınız?
Nasılsınız?
Nasılsınız?
The phrase for very well and you
İyi.
is
İyiyim. Siz
İyiyim. Siz.
İyiyim siz.
İyiyim. Siz?
İyiyim.
now you try it.
İyiyim siz.
iyiyim. Siz
İyiyim siz.
The word for please
Lütfen.
is
Lütfen.
Lütfen.
lütfen.
Lütfen.
now you try it.
Lütfen.
Lütfen.
Lütfen.
The phrase for thank you is
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür.
now you try it.
Teşekkür ederim. Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
The phrase for you're welcome is
Bir şey değil.
Bir şey değil.
Bir şey değil.
Bir şey değil.
now you try it.
Bir şey. Değil.
Bir şey değil.
Bir şey değil.
The phrase for see you later is
Görüşürüz.
Görüşürüz.
Görüşürüz.
now you try it.
Görüşürüz.
Görüşürüz.
Görüşürüz.
Görüşürüz.
The phrase for it's nice to meet you is
Memnun oldum.
Memnun oldum.
Memnun oldum.
Memnun oldum.
now you try it.
Memnun oldum.
Memnun oldum.
Memnun oldum.
Oldum.
Memnun oldum.
The phrase for what is your name is
Adınız ne?
Adınız ne?
Adınız ne?
Adınız ne?
Adınız.
now you say it.
Adınız ne?
Adınız ne?
Adınız ne?
The phrase for my name is
Adım.
Adım.
Adım.
Adım.
Adım.
now you say it.
Adım. Adımız.
Adım.
Adım.
Adım.
The phrase for I am American is
Amerikalıyım.
Amerikalıyım.
Kalıyım.
Amerikalıyım.
now you say it.
Amerikalıyım.
Amerikalıyım.
Amerika.
Please please visit travellinguist.com to learn a new language on DVD, your iPod, your TV, and your computer. And don't forget, search TravelLink.
Okay. Go ahead and stop that sharing. Pull up one last thing for that's just excitement, and then bid you guys adieu and thank you very much.
Thank you.
So. Let's check it out. I didn't. Check it. You guys are gonna love this. This is one of the, he was the most popular Turkish singer of all time, and he is singing a song that has the word çok so much in there. And I'm just gonna play a little bit of his music, so for us to just have ourselves a blast. And I didn't forget about the Public Block Conference. I'm also sharing that.
Is Iswan Pureware's music, is that in Kurmanji, or is that in, is that in Turkish? Are you familiar with that artist?
One more time?
I think his name is Iswan, Siwan, maybe, I'm not pronouncing his name properly. Perware? Shiwan Perware? He's a Kurdish musician.
It may be, because I haven't heard of him, but, it could be somebody who does have like Turkic sort of identity. It could be Kurdish. And he's just so handsome. And I love like the belly dancing and things.
Takmış koluna elin adamını beni orta yerinden çatlatıyor. Ağzımda sakızı şişirip arsız patlatıyor. Belki de bu yüzden vuruldum sahibi olan dünya. Sarma erkek niye seni şımarık değişti mi bu dünya? Çekmiş kaşına gözüne sürme dudaklar kıpkırmızı kırtıyor. Bir de karşıma geçmiş utanması yok. İnadıma sırtıyor. Biz böyle mi gördük babamızdan, hele günlerimiz iyi oldu. Yeni adet gelmiş eski köye bak, paslar mahvoldu. Seni gidip fındık kıran, yılların deliğinden çıkaran, kaderin püskül bela, yakalarsam. Seni gidip fındık kıran, yılların deliğinden çıkaran, kaderin püskül bela, yakalarsam. Ocağına düştüm yavrum.
Yavrum, it's like grab you and never let go. Yavrum.
Ocağına düştüm yavrum. Ocağına düştüm yavrum. Sıcağına düştüm yavrum. Takmış koluna elin adamını beni orta yerinden çatlatıyor. Ağzımda sakızı şişirip.
Okay, well that is Tarkan. And, all right, so just want to get final impressions and thank you guys. Any thoughts, any new things learned, or just kind of let's chat about Turkish.
I was not expecting that video, but it was I was definitely pleasantly surprised. Thank you so much. This was really great.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for coming, and hopefully you'll continue on learning more about the language, whether with me for the other classes, which are just a continuation of this, or if it's other avenues. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Yeah, this was really enjoyable to practice the basic sounds.
Awesome. Last but not least, anything Michelle, you wanted to add? Okay, if not, I'm just sharing my screen one last time and then letting everybody go right at 7:30. This is the Polyglot Conference, and you know, they also, if you are really passionate about language topics, you can write and you know, do a presentation at the Polyglot Conference. Like I said, it's a mix of, you know, famous polyglots, YouTubers who are really big, and then there are also you know, people who are also researchers and professors who come to this conference every year. And you know, I've presented. And you know, other folks who are just like really enthusiastic about language learning, and then of course check out the Polyglot Conference like YouTube videos. This guy here with the beard is Richard Timcott. He speaks like literally 20 languages, and he's like so good at it. And you know, so I'm sharing the link here in the chat. So. Okay, and yes, the Tarkan video was actually hilarious. I feel like I still get a kick out of it because it's just so kind of dated now. But yeah, thank you so much. That's the Polyglot Conference information, and you know, all right. So,
oh, how do you say it? What is the goodbye phrase that you were saying that people said? What is it?
Gule gule.
Gule gule. Yeah.
Gule gule.
Bye.